Hey guys, welcome to Coding Club. It's Jerry at the Fledge with our good friends Jeremy and Bob. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing great.
All right, so we're going to jump right into this, and Bob is going to take over, and we're going to share his screen in a minute and show us some stuff that he got off from the interweb. So you getting ready to share your screen there, Bob?
I am.
All right. So whenever you're sharing it, when you're focused on that, we will switch over.
Here we go.
All right.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is there's a lot of inexpensive books that you can get about coding that are out there, and it's from a organization called Humble Bundle. And what they do is they work things with different companies, and they will put stuff, they'll put together a bundle, and then you can purchase either at the $1 level, the $8 level, or the $15 level most of the time. And the part that I'm the most familiar with is actually going after technical materials. They also do games and other things, which I've never really done anything with, so I don't know if the pricing structure is the same. But over the last several years, I'll just scroll through this and let you see how many different types of things I've gotten. You know, there's computer productivity and coding, Linux, Unix by O'Reilly. O'Reilly is a pretty good publisher of this stuff, by the way. There's other ones like Mercury. There's, Python by Pact. That's another publisher that does a lot of good stuff. And then there's Make. They do a lot of things along this line. And I've been at this for a little while, so that's my mid screen right there. So I don't know exactly how many are on here, but a little while ago I was telling Jerry and Jeremy about this particular bunch that I picked up, which is blockchain and cryptocurrency. And they do a pretty good job on these things, and they'll take you all the way. There's foundations of blockchain, hands-on blockchain with Hyperledger, blockchain programming with JavaScript, on and on and on and on. I don't have to read you every one of these, but basically that's a lot of good stuff there for free. Well, not for free, but for an extremely low price. Any of these books, you would pay more for one of them than you would for the entire bundle that you can get. And then the money they get from that goes to some charity. And I don't think they show that out here. Well, this is the other part that's sort of nice with this particular one. They've got a bunch of videos with it as well. So you can download these videos, and some of them, one chunk of that, like learning blockchain application development, there might be, somewhere in the vicinity of 25 or 30 separate videos. They're 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer. So there's a lot of good stuff. So you can get the videos, and then if there's any supplementary material, a lot of times you can also pick that up too. So if it's, if they've got coding in the video and you want to try it out yourself, you can get a hold of that stuff too. Some of the, when you get into this, some of them, you can see that bottom one there, Blockchain for Business 2018, the New Industrial Revolution. The zip is 1.7 gigabytes. So it'll take you a few minutes to download some of these. Anyway, I think that's about all I had to say about that.
So are you ready to do some blockchain development with us when we introduce Fledge Coin next month?
Well, I'm not certain I'm quite there yet. I've got a couple other things that I'm a little bit more hooked into right now, but I might think about it, and I'd certainly share some of this information if it's legal. I'm not
All
certain
right.
all of the ramifications if I, paid $15 for this stuff and get all this stuff and then start shipping it around the web. I might get in a little trouble, but I'm not certain of what their uh, how they feel about that. So I'd have to check on that.
Well, thank you for showing that, Bob.
You bet.
I'm going to take it off screen for a second, and I just want to make a comment about that. If you
Okay.
want to start coding, you got to start coding. And having a book, having a video, having sample code, those are all really good starts. Because just get started. You're not going to blow up your computer if you have a bug in your code. Well, I'm sorry, you might, but those are the chances I guess we take, right?
Yeah.
So now Jeremy is going to show us some code that he's been working on. Do you want to preface that with anything, Jeremy?
This is based on code that was in a YouTube demonstration video on pulling statistic information from YouTube. So, for instance, my YouTube channel, I normally spend an hour every Sunday morning and go and manually pull a lot of my statistics from it, and I'm trying to get to a point where I can automate that process and save myself a bunch of time. So this is like a first step towards that, and it's getting to the point where I've started making changes to the example code, and there's still things I need to do, but it does run, it does pull information, and I've got 3 different channel IDs in here that I can pull, and I will try to go through this fairly quick and show that, and just to give people an idea of what it can do and how quick it does it. So with that, I will share my screen.
And I'm excited to look at this too, because one thing when you learn how to code, you can help automate your life quite a bit. Like, for example, I just realized my fan's still on, and maybe you guys can hear that. Alexa, turn off Jerry's fan. I did this last night. So now it's more quiet.
All right. So there are really 3 files that I've got with this code. My creds is a file that I'm importing. I've made a demo file that tells you that it's just the API key. You've got to get that part from YouTube itself, from their developer section. So this main Python is going to import YouTube statistics. From YouTube statistics, import the YT stats. It's a class. And then it's importing the API key from the other file, which I just showed. And so going down through this file, you're specifying a channel ID, and you would grab this from YouTube again. This happens to be the channel ID for my YouTube channel. And then you're passing the API key and the channel ID across to a function and running some a statistics function, and then this dump2 is actually going to generate a couple files, and the get channel video data, we'll look at it in just a minute. So jumping over to the last file, it does import a couple of libraries, Python libraries. You've got an initialization function here that's just setting up some variables and things that are going to be used. We move into get channel statistics, and we specify a URL. You do some manipulation of the JSON data that it spits back. and do some text conversion in the next line. And then in this section here, the try except, you're pulling specific things out of that JSON data. And then we come down here, and this one will spit out some information with a limiter to 50 items per page. And the rest of it is pretty much just variations on that. It's either manipulating the JSON data in some way, or it's getting ready to spit out some data in a more readable format. And so this dump to, this is my modified function. And so this is going to actually write out a file when everything is said and done that has some information in it. So if we come over here back to the main.py and run this, again, this is going to run against my channel ID. And so it spits out a couple of URLs, and this has the JSON data that you can actually look at in your browser. But the interesting part of it is right here. View count, 363,498. Subscriber count, 1,960. And then video count, 252. So that's all in good, but say we want to run it against a different channel. Oh, we'll pick on the Fledge.
Oh, no.
And since this part down here does spit out a file, we've got to change the file name that, or the string that we're passing to the function. We can run this again. And just that quickly, view count is 7771, subscriber count 171, and video count is 168.
All right, I'm getting there.
You're gaining on me.
I got 1 million more views to get, but yeah.
Well, but you're not that far from me in video count.
Well, every damn day adds up pretty quick. We did
Yes,
100 today, by the way.
So I got to answer the phone. Hold on.
Okay, no problem. So I'm going to take Jeremy's screen off for just a moment. He is doing something at work right now. And, you know, one of the things about programming is there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that is grabbing data, and we call that kind of consuming data or producing data. And there's things that can consume that data. You could have a user interface, you could have another software system that might, you know, for example, Excel, you might be able to dump that into a spreadsheet. And what Jeremy's doing on screen, like changing the ID from its fixed channel to the Fledge channel. Usually you might build a web page or an application form to do that type of stuff so that you can make your code kind of more abstract or more generic for the different solutions. And words like, or acronyms like Json or XML or SQL, you're going to hear these a lot. These are different ways to kind of package up data and share them between these different applications or these different uses. I'm missing a bunch, Bob. I'm not trying to do a whole computer science class, but anything you want to add to that?
Well, no, yeah, there's a lot of different things going on. You know, there's different message passing protocols and all kinds of things like that. And that can range across all kinds of different, well, applications or, you know, whatever. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of stuff too, as far as how you think about the code. different types of methods you can use. Whether now some of this is going to go back a little ways, and maybe some of it isn't used quite as much anymore, but they're still using it. One thing would be flow charting. Another thing, for quite a while, I spent time working with a thing called the Warnier ore ecosystem, and it had a particular diagramming tools that you would use to help you understand what it was you were building. So there's a whole lot of different pieces to the puzzle.
There's a kid that comes to our studio that some of you would know him. His name is Marcel, and he's got a nice little bot builder he's been working with, where you basically do the flow chart and it generates the code. It's really super cool. I'm trying to get him to come present to us. So back to Jeremy and his code.
All right. So just to give you an example of what these two generated files have in them, I'm going to open them up, and then I'll have to switch my screen over to the browser. But give me just a second. I'll open these, and let's see. I'll stop sharing that.
And I would like to give a shout out. Well, I'll keep giving a shout out to the Eaton Rapids District Library where Jeremy works. They are allowing him to spend some time at Coding Club and have put the Coding Club videos on the homepage of their website to help promote coding in their area. We're in COVID, so we're global with everything we do if we're going virtual. So it doesn't matter where you are, coding is relevant. I know that, it might seem a long, long ways away from where you're sitting right now, but we all were there. All of us had a pre-coder's life, and, I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun. I'm having fun looking at the code that Jeremy's presenting. I'm looking at the code that Quinn presented last week is pretty cool. And this is a call to anybody out there who wants to come and demonstrate some code or talk about a project that they're working on. Please join us with Coding Club. It's Bob, Jeremy, and I are going to get sick of watching looking at each other's code if it, I don't know. Don't you think so, Bob? And you are muted, by the way. You're muted, Bob. Okay.
Then I'm back. No, I agree that the more we get in here and the more diverse types of situations, whether it's projects or coding or just whatever, makes it a lot more interesting.
And since
Sorry,
Jeremy,
I got a computer talking to me.
yeah. So again, Jeremy's going to be distracted a little bit because he is working as he is doing the Coding Club. One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is, we're gonna be showing code, but people like the kind of sexy part, right? They want to see that form, they want to see a report, they want to see things, not necessarily that happens in the background. And I wonder how much code is generated for UI compared to all of the different things that hold it all together. Do you think there's one line of UI for 10 lines of business logic or database retrieval? I don't even know what the ratio is.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that it's even a little bit more than that.
I was going to say
There's
1 in 1,000.
If you look at the code that runs Windows on your computer, there's a lot going on down there. When you're talking directly to the hardware with your drivers, that's some fairly complex code as well. And it's usually written in a little bit lower level language, either assembler or a lot of it, I guess, has been written in C because it's a pretty powerful language that compiles quickly into good machine code. But
Okay. And I'll throw your screen back on there when you're ready, Jeremy.
Okay.
So you there?
Yep.
All right.
You hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of the examples of the JSON file. This is what it looks like. And so there are a few things going on here. So if you have more than a page of results, it's going to give you a next page token, telling you in this line here. So this is saying total results 204, results per page 50. So obviously you're going to have a next page token. And then the key here is the video ID. So this is actually your identifier for a specific video on YouTube. So with this data, you would be able to eventually, once you take it out of this format, you could put it into a plain text format and then loop through that data and be able to launch or manipulate any of these videos individually. So that's an example of the first file. The second file is very similar. And again, it has next page token. And did I open the same file twice?
It almost looks like it.
It does look like it. Okay. So, okay, let me
It's all right. Take your time.
jump back.
So JSON was relatively new as I was selling my last company. We used it for a couple of years. It's JavaScript object notation. Is that right?
I do believe so.
And it's just again a way to produce and consume data that has you basically have to transform it, like what Jeremy was saying. You can transform it into a text file, a database, whatever. And so, are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. I think I found a problem in my code. Both files are the same. the links are taking me to the same data. But yeah, this is a usable format. There are tools out there that you can manipulate it with, like this. And then of course you've always got the option of converting pieces of it into a text file for manipulation with other tools, such as, a lot of the standard Unix command line tools that are very powerful once you start chaining them together and doing things. And of course, Python has the ability with different libraries to manipulate JSON files as well. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show today. So I'll give it back to you, Jerry.
Well, are you? Thank you, Jeremy. That is wonderful. I understand the problem innately because I want that data too, and I'm always going in and fishing. And I wish YouTube had a better kind of analysis package. Maybe there's one out there for sale. Or are you gonna develop this into a suite of tools that goes with YouTube?
So what I had specifically in mind for this particular problem that I'm trying to solve is really twofold. One, I'm going to take probably my little M5 Stick C device, and since that's got an integrated LCD screen, I can have this connect to Wi-Fi and automatically pull down subscriber data and other specific pieces that I want on a regular basis. The second part of it is that I want to be able to get it to the point where I can have a piece of Python code run once a week, and I could even do it as a cron job on a Linux system or a Mac, or even on Windows with Windows subsystem for Linux. But I could have that run once a week and pull down all this data that I normally go and get manually, and then have it manipulated so it ends up in a CSV format, which is a comma separated value format. And then I can import it into a spreadsheet and, you know, get on with the manipulation I want to do with it and produce all my pretty little graphs and things. So that's the two sides of what I'm trying to do with this project.
All right. So Bob, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay. We can't see you.
I'm just looking at everybody's screen, and I was the only one that was on there, so I just took my laptop back so you couldn't see me.
I see.
I don't know if you're looking at who's on the screen in that, but yours is pointing somewhere. I don't know where. And Jeremy's is pointing.
What do you mean?
Either that or I'm getting a goofy feed.
I think you're getting a goofy feed.
Yeah, I see both of you.
Yeah, I see both of you too. But anyway,
That's interesting.
another good coding club. And you know, it's a constant call to come show your code, come teach us something. The more people that we have on the screen, the more we're going to be able to learn from each other, and the more we're going to have a diverse set of thought that will lead to different solutions and different ways of doing things. So stay tuned for Coding Club again next week, same time, 5 o'clock. And y'all get out there and code. So if you want to start coding, start coding. See y'all later. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Bob.
You bet.
See y'all.
Have a good one.
Bye.